Hello and welcome to BTS, that's Behind the Scenes, our special offering on Business Today TV, and a show where we share a sneak peek into the latest issue of the Business Today magazine. And this is a special edition, a BT-PWC survey on India's best CEOs. I'm Sakshi Batra, and joining in to share more insights on this special annual edition. On this show, I have with me Mr. Sourav Majumdar joining in. He's the editor of Business Today magazine. Alokesh Bhattacharya also joins in. He's the managing editor of the magazine, and Krishna Gopalan also joins in, the executive editor at the Business Today magazine. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for taking the time out for joining in onto the special edition. And now to showcase the first glimpse of the cover to all our viewers. Well, I have my copy, and you do see Natarajan Chandrasekharan on the cover, the chairman of Tata Sons, who's also been awarded the Business Icon of the Year. Saurav, let me kickstart with you. We did see the fantastic award ceremony at BT Mindrash last week. You also had a fantastic hour-long freewheeling chat with Chandra. Please do share with all our viewers. First up, the importance of this Business Today PWC survey of the best CEOs and also the key winners this time.
Thank you, Sakshi. Yes, it's a very big day for us when we launched the Mind Rush at the Mind Rush Conclave, the Best CEOs issue. But the issue is, of course, as Alokesh and Krishna will elaborate upon, it's been a very important issue every year because this is one where we actually showcase the best leadership talent Inc. has got across companies, across sectors. And this time we've got companies across size and scale, across sectors. And the first time we have actually brought in a conglomerate wide award, which is the Business Icon of the Year. And very fittingly, I think it's Natarajan Chandrasekharan, the chairman of Tata Sons, who has been given the award. And it was a stellar jury, may I add, led by none other than Ajay Piramal, with the likes of Cyril Schroff and others being in the panel. So I think it came together very well. And yes, you're right. There was a very interesting session we had at the BT Mind Rush and the award. Mr. Chandrasekharan actually outlined the entire game plan he has for the Tata Group, and the same thing he has done. If you read the issue, he's
Yeah.
we have actually outlined the entire Tata game plan under Chandra's watch. And I say Chandra because that's the way he wants to be addressed. He doesn't like
Yes.
this long, this whole trappings of the chairmanship, as he is. He's a very informal man, but at the same time, very focused, very clear on what he wants to do. And look at the manner in which, from 2017 to now, he has led the Tata Group. And,
Sure.
and remember, he took over under very testing circumstances
Yes.
after that whole public spat between the group and that then chairman, unfortunately deceased, Cyrus Mistry.
Yes. But Alukesh, let me come to you first to understand the methodology behind the rankings this time around, what's been different, and in case we have some surprises this time as well.
Actually, what's been different is the business icon of the year award,
Yeah.
right? It's a new category. It was not there earlier. Methodology has largely remained same. Maybe one or two parameters might have changed over the years. We started this in 2013 with our first issue. Uh, the methodology you asked is pretty simple. We look at the BT 500, which are the 500 most valuable companies of India by market capitalization, and that forms the base universe. From there, we weed out, loss-making companies, and there are some other filters of elimination, such as if the audited results are not fully available, right, and some other parameters are there. And if the CEO has not been the CEO of that company for the entire past three fiscals at the very minimum, right? And that is only for private companies, of course. For public sector companies, that
Okay.
yardstick is slightly relaxed to 1 year because, as you know, public sector company CEOs do change a lot faster than private sector ones, right? And so once we had that universe of companies that were not loss making and whose CEOs were there for more than 3 years, we looked at data of the past three fiscals around top line and profit before tax and total shareholder returns. And for banks, of course, we looked at PBT, and for non-banks, we looked at PBIT. So we combined these parameters and looked at the growth that they showed, over these three fiscals, 2021 and 22, right, FY. And then we have our own proprietary methodology, which of course I cannot divulge too much, but we have our own method of scoring companies based on this, because ultimately a CEO's success or otherwise is really determined by the financial performance of a company. If you are a great CEO and you have not delivered profits, then not much help in being a great CEO, right? So that is one approach, and the second part is, of course, once we have the nominations ready and we know who the top three performers are in each category, then we present that to the jury. Like Saurav said, it was led by Ajay Piramal, the chairman of the Piramal Group, and we had five other
Yeah.
very stellar jury members, and they take the decision on who gets the final award based on their own wisdom and judgment.
Sure, sure, sure. Krishna, let me ask you to also give your take, since you've also written along with sort of the cover story on Chandra as well. You met him, you discussed at large, the way he has led the group's foray into new businesses, especially the sunrise sectors. He's, the way he's added muscle to the existing ones as well and laid foundation for a healthy growth ahead as well. So I want to understand from you what really, has taken place over the last 5 years. What have you gathered, and what lies ahead for the group?
Thank you, Sakshi. Look, he's been at the helm of affairs for 6 years. So for him to having come from a business as clear as software, as straight as software, coming into a business as heterogeneous as this, handling everything from salt to software in that sense, has been a really tough task for him. He's managed to do a couple of things very well. Took the tough call in sectors like telecommunications, where they said enough is enough and they backed out. He's putting his money in the sunday sectors like defense, the super app. He's looking at fabs and stuff like that. More importantly, the interesting part is he's looking to reorient the existing sectors, which didn't seem very cool. So you take a look at steel, for example. He said we'll have an India-specific strategy. You go into Tata Motors, the whole EV push is very evident now. At the same time, not to forget the big ticket acquisition of Air India, which gave them a presence in a sector which they actually were very large at one point, had to exit because of government compulsions, and they're back now. So he's had an approach which is based on flexibility, agility, and an incredible ability to spot the opportunity. And the entire strategy has been fine tuned around these three
Yeah,
objectives.
yeah, absolutely. Sort of, let me also ask you about the Lifetime Achievement Award, which has gone to Nandan Nilekani, and he was personally present there to take the award at the BT Rush Awards as well. Of course, he's been a leader par excellence for many years now, from co-founding India's leading technology firm to also taking it through the toughest times that we have seen in the recent past, to then taking a larger role when we talk about the social cause, manning the UIDAI event, and now the ONDC. So he's really been the tech person to go to, that the government banks upon, that the corporate India leaders are banked upon as well. What were your key insights from your interaction with him and the story that we will read in this issue?
I think it was a delightful interaction which we had. Krishna will vouch for that. It was an absolute pleasure meeting Nandan. Nandan is a guy who actually sees himself, as he himself says it. He says he's a plumber. He fixes things. He's a plumbing guy.
Okay.
And of course he's India's, as we have called it, he's India's change agent. He the kind of changes Chanda has the Nandan has brought about is just unprecedented. If you whether you look at even the changes he brought about at Infosys, and thereafter when he went into government, the rollout of Aadhaar, which was a first of its kind initiative in India. The kind of scale at which Aadhaar was rolled out, and today it's a part of our lives. Then he moved on to UPI. He was played a key role in today. The UPI. We did Business Today did a cover story on UPI, and UPI is again everywhere. And thereafter now he's replicating the same at ONDC with digital commerce, democratizing digital commerce. So whatever Chandra touches, he makes a deep impact. And also, like you said, in
Wonderful.
Infosys, in his second innings, he came in at a time again, pretty much like Chandra, in fact, when there was a
Yeah.
big spat between the current that the CEO at that time, Vishal Sikka, and the promoters. And it was pretty public also. And Nandan came back, and he had to come back. And like he told us, he had not come anywhere near the Infosys campus in the interim period. But he came back, and he was the calming influence. He got in a fantastic CEO like Salil Parekh, who's taking Infosys back to where it should belong. And he's now playing a broader role of
Right.
governance. So
Right.
his earlier role of being a nuts and bolts guy at Infosys is now morphed into a governance kind of role as the chairman. So it's a very interesting life story, and the jury was unanimous in the fact that he deserves the Lifetime Achievement Award, though people feel he's a bit too young for it. But I think the jury, in his
Yes.
wisdom, thought that he's achieved so much that absolutely no question about Lifetime Achievement Award for him.
For sure, yes, hoping a lot more because this is the era of disruption. We've been seeing technology go through a sea of change with AI, metaverse, generative AI coming in, and there's more that we can expect from Nandan Nilekani in the years to follow for sure. Krishna, your takeaways from your interaction?
I mean, just to add to what Saurav said, he said something to us in the middle of the interview. He said, I rarely look back at the past. So that itself is an absolute indicator of how young the man thinks. For us, just imagine we've stood in a queue, we've given a ration card, a passport to buy the most basic things. And today, actually, with a fingerprinting mechanism, you can buy a new cell phone, you can get a new SIM card. So his ability to make a difference to so many lives, be it in the IT sector where he co-founded Infosys in 1981, or kind of going through the entire motions in terms of now setting up Aadhaar, translating that to UPI, and there's reason to believe that the disruption in the sphere of ONDC is hardly has hardly unfolded. So you can be rest assured with Nandan at the helm of affairs, we're getting on to something very big all over again.
Absolutely. But Krishna, you were telling me something very interesting off air as well. You were telling me how Narayan Murthy used to call, Nandan Nilekani, and he used to say that when Murthy calls, I'm going to be there. So could you share some more anecdotes on that front too?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we spoke to Mr. Murthy as well, and he recollected the time Nandan came to him for a job in 1979 when he was at Patni, and how he gave him these old-fashioned puzzles to solve. You don't hear stories of that anymore.
Yeah.
It's almost like a question paper, answer paper kind of a mechanism. So I think the relationship is kind of it borders on love, respect, and affection, and there is the sense of mentorship also. I think so. Nandan was absolutely candid when he told us if the offer came from Murthy, he just went. It's I think the job profiles, the job description, all these fancy words are a part of today's lexicon. Those days, somebody called you, you just went. So I think that was it. It came from the heart, if I may say so.
And there is that Guru Shishya equation, that Guru Shishya equation which Nandan has with Narayana Murthy. I think that comes
Correct.
through very clearly in whatever either of them said to us, and I think that's very clear.
That's amazing. I think there are these amazing stories for everyone to read in this issue, and so much that you can really. Alokesh, you also have a point to make here.
So you will notice that a car to create a new car takes about 4 to 5 years, right, from the ideation to end. And Chandra, being a software guy, came in, and Krishna and Saurav have written that in their story. So, but I am speaking on behalf of them. And
Please
he
do.
say he got a new electric car made in 6 months, right? And which was deemed completely impossible to do. It has never happened anywhere in the world. I mean, it
Yeah.
was a barely functional car, okay, but it was still a car and it was working. The IC engine was thrown out and batteries were pumped in, and there were all sorts of issues. But finally, the car was made to work, and that Chandra is one of the main reasons why Tata Motors has gone so far ahead in its electric journey. And that is absolutely amazing, considered that he knew nothing about manufacturing and about automobiles before taking over as Tata Group chairman. There are many more anecdotes in the story, Sakshi, about Chandra's wife telling him on the journey to their Lonavala house that, where are the Tata cars on the road? I can't see any. Do something about it. And he
Okay.
did. And now there are
Okay.
Tata Motors market share is almost as high as Hyundai, number two.
In fact, the whole group's market cap has shot up after Chandra took over. Though Chandra's told me at the conference that you don't work for market cap. Market cap follows if your performance
Yeah.
is good, which
Yeah.
is a point, absolutely valid point. But the markets have rewarded the Tata Group very well. By the most of the stocks have gone up, and it
Sure.
speaks about Chandra's capabilities as a leader. I think they've got a right guy at the right place at the right time.
Absolutely, that's the word that we are looking for. Right person at the right place at the right time. But we also have some fantastic other stories in this issue as well. Apart from, of course, the tech person and the conglomerate Tata in Chandra as well. We also have. The best CEO from the FMCG space, Suresh Narayanan, as well, also on one of the covers in this issue as well. And the way he has led Nestle from the Maggie crisis until now, but that also speaks remarkably. Some of the other stories that you would want to talk about, both Saurav and Alokesh, I'll come to you. Saurav, first to you.
No, I think there are many interesting stories in this issue, Sakshi. There are so many CEOs whose stories have been outlined, and I think one common thread is the belief in India, which is something which we have
Yeah.
actually talked about. The India story, everybody betting big on the Indian story, and also empathetic leadership, customer centricity. I think these are things. If you when whether you look at TV Narendran, or you look at Suresh Narayanan, or you look at any other leader from among even Havels, Anil Rai Gupta, or any of these guys, you'll find that there is a deep commitment to the Indian story, and there are common threads, despite the very diverse set of leaders we are
Yes.
talking about.
Yes.
In fact, it's interesting that the chief guest at the Mind Rush was Jyotiraditya Scindia. We have an interview with Jyotiraditya Scindia in this issue as well, where again
Yeah.
he talks about how the aviation sector, which and the steel sector, both of which he leads as the minister, are really doing well. And I think there is a lot of stories which will come through in both these sectors. Yes, one of the airlines has been in trouble, but overall the aviation sector is one which is booming. As you can see, the
Sure.
number of passengers and the huge order which the Tata Group, Air India, has put out, which again the minister spoke about. So I think it's a mix of a lot of stories in this issue, and I definitely hope that the reader will enjoy reading it, the diversity of this issue, and enjoy it as much as we really enjoyed putting it together. Also, a lot of credit to Ayush Ailavadi, our group tech editor, who sort of got that interview before anybody else could, and really, in fact, nobody else got that interview. So I think it was quite a scoop for Business Today. And
Yes.
Tim Cook has spoken about the India moment, and how a little bit about AI as well, and how he feels that in India at this point, anything is possible. I think that's a very big statement coming from one of the world's top CEOs.
Sure, like you pointed out, Saurav, the readers are going to have a ball reading this edition, and I really hope that all of you please go out there and grab your edition. This is not a missing copy for all of you. Thank you so much, Alokesh, Krishna, Saurav, once again for sharing all these wonderful insights with all our viewers. Always a pleasure having all of you with us on BTS, and here's until next time. That we are going to see another edition, another powerful edition at that. Many more stuff, much more stuff coming up right up on your screens on Business Today TV. So do stay tuned with us as well.